Welcome. I'm Stephen Winnick with the American Folklife Center at the Library of Congress, and this interview is part of the 2021 Homegrown at Home concert series. In this series, we have asked wonderful traditional musicians from all over the world to record concert videos and send them to us. This began as a measure to keep everyone safe during the COVID-19 pandemic, but still maintain the tradition of bringing you homegrown concerts. On the Library of Congress website and YouTube channel, you'll find many concert videos, both recorded live at the Library of Congress and since 2020, recorded by artists in or near their homes as well. Today, I am joined in this interview by Theodosia Austin, the producer of the concert series. Our special guests are Nino Naneishvili and Anna Lolashvili, who represent the Georgian polyphonic singing group Ialoni. Welcome to both of you to the interview series. And if you wouldn't mind, could you each pronounce your own name for us so that people won't be relying on my faulty pronunciation?
Of course. I'm Nino Naneishvili.
I am Anna Lolashvili.
Well, welcome to both of you and welcome to the interview series.
So what can you tell us just a little bit about what's going on with the pandemic in Georgia right now?
Nowadays in Georgia, it's better situation as it was in last month. Yesterday, government decided to cancel to wearing mask in open air, and yeah, it's just we use it in the offices and buildings. But a lot of people around us has COVID-19, and yeah, it's not so clean situation, but better and better.
I believe a friend of yours told me that almost everybody in the group has had it. Is that correct? In the past?
So nowadays, 1 week before, for example, one our member base had it, and she's now okay, but we are safe. Not all of us, but I had it in November, and several of us, not whole group.
Wow. Well, we're very happy that you guys have recovered, and I hope that you all stay safe from here on out.
Yes, we're sorry that you've had it, but as Thea says, very happy that you've recovered and that you're all doing well now. So we'd like to begin the musical questions by asking sort of questions about learning Georgian traditional music. So what were some of your earliest experiences with traditional singing?
Anna, maybe you want to answer first?
Yeah, I sing from my childhood, and music is my life. Yeah, and I'm so happy that I sing in famous women's Ensemble Ialoni. Ensemble Ialoni is a very special ensemble because this is women ensemble, and in Georgia there are not many ensemble of women choirs, and it's special.
Mm-hmm. So Anna, did you have family members who were traditional musicians? Did you grow up with it as a child?
Yeah, my sister, I have sisters, and they are sing well also. And we are singing together in three voices, and
Yeah, there are four sisters, and also mother is close to music, and yeah. She also graduated now, start to learn in conservatoire, and congratulations, because she had a very high scores on these exams. And
Congratulations.
Did you grow, so you grew up in a family that sang and you learned songs from them?
Yeah.
And you did too, Nino? Did you also grow up in a family that sang?
Partly, not all of my family members can sing well, but father is not singer, but very good meloman, and also mother likes so much, and she was a journalist, and she works like ethnologist, and in different parts of Georgia. She traveled a lot and made TV programs, and it was so close to music and rituals and traditions, and it gave me so much. And from 5 years old, I start to chant in the church. And also play on the piano, and I graduated as pianist conservatoire, but I discovered on my uh, feelings and soul that for me it was more important to do traditional music, not classical and international. And also I sang in several folk ensembles from childhood, and yeah, it's for me the main musical style which I enjoy to do, and with pleasure and with happiness. And thanks to God, I have several brilliant girls around me, and they helps me to make my dreams real.
That is wonderful. So, it is traditional music typically taught in schools to children in Georgia? It seems there's traditional music everywhere, but is it something that's put into the curriculum?
Unfortunately, not so seriously. It in several schools, but it's mostly in private schools, not in every of each of them. It's they have also musical different genres, and it's so little percentage of traditional music. It I think it must be more, because now I have workshops with music teachers, and not pupils, also teachers unfortunately know so not so widely about our traditional music, but it comes from the government, of course, and the strategy of culture. It's not so strong in this way.
Yeah, but there is University of Georgian Folk Songs and Chant in Georgia, and I'm studying in here also, and my teacher, my lecturer is Nino, and I'm proud of her. Yeah.
So do you think that that's changing? Do you think the interest is increasing now, or is it, where do you think the general interest is in Georgia, in Georgians' own interest in traditional music?
Anna, how do you think about it?
I think young people is not very interested in folk music. But the Georgian folk songs is very polyphony, and also known. Always know, everyone knows this. But in young people, isn't very popular Georgian folk
So
songs.
they listen more to pop music and
Yeah.
things like that, and rather than classical. Do you want to? So would you like to change that? I mean, I imagine with your teaching, you said you're teaching teachers, school teachers?
Yeah, it's a university, Ilia State University, and they have 1 year program to make their degree higher. And for me, it's big surprise that they knew so they have so small information about it, and they know so not so much songs. And I think it's because it has maybe it comes from Soviet Union, maybe it needs to change, like a stereotype that in Georgia, for example, it's a lot men ensembles. It's patriarchatism, you say, yeah. And I think it's need the gender equality and be more colorful with creative ensembles, because nowadays in Georgia we have one or two big stream, so-called folk music, which associated with our traditional men dress. It's chocha, you know this, and with loudly performing of mralajamir or something special. It's not so real as it is really, because we have a lot genres, a lot manner of performing, and I think it's the reason because it's not so fashionable, because it has you know, it's like a identity, nationality, and traditionalism and Orthodox religions. It's mixed with together, and I think it's not real to think about these things together, because it's absolutely possible not be, for example, religious, or not be a fundamentalist in Orthodox way, and some people has brilliant musician world inside, and they must express their views, and it's not freedom. I think so. It's in the frame, and this frame, it's so not so wide as this music was, and it is, but it needs to open windows or doors, or it needs more space to express what it is. And I think if we can, each of us, and our new generation and our friends, if all they can find inside the force to express their own individual creative views and the sounds and repertoire and everything, it must be more fashionable. Because for example, I have friends who is for example, artists or in business, in bank, not musicians, and many years for them my singing life was like a in humor and laughing and joking about it. But I think about a lot why it is, because we are close friends, we have similar views about many things, but not in this way. For them it was not so emotional traditional music as for me. And I have also another psychotherapist friend who started to research these reasons, and he find out, I think, very nice, interesting theory that in our inside world, all of us, all Georgians and all humankind, has a big musicality, because we hear every day birds singing and nature and everything, but it needs to connect with real music, and to connect with ancestors. For example, it's not so fashionable nowadays to say a toast about ancestors, or because sometimes it's so a lot. It's like a two kind of Georgians who is very traditionalist, or who is very like a product of globalization, or how can I express, and they have like a stress, and they choose the opposite position against these big supras and traditions, and because it's several things need to change and need to be more modern, for example. And I think we need to work so much and think about it, not just standing in the stage or record the CDs and be in our circle. If we want to be wider, it's need to communicate in different with different kind of persons. For example, it's very fashionable to hear jazz and classical music and electronic music, yeah, and it's like a style. For them, it's good style to go in these concerts. Sometimes they can't understand what happens really in musical way, but it's yeah, good style and fashionable. And I think we need to think about it to make folk as modern music, and to go inside this our friends or not friends emotions and feelings.
Yeah.
Sorry about a lot.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it definitely, we can tell in hearing you talk about this, Nino, that in addition to being a musician, you're a trained ethnographer, an ethnomusicologist, because you're talking about the connections of music and culture and the fact that this musical tradition was wider historically than what is often presented. So do you find that your training in ethnomusicology has also affected your approach to the music?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course, it has big influence on each other.
Well, it's so interesting that, you know, when you think about it, aside from the way folk music is labeled, songs like, for instance, Zeshina, which is a lullaby, which is announcing the birth of a child, is something very, very basic to anyone who's ever had a child in the modern world, the ancient world. And there's no reason why we need to think of that as simply a historic artifact. You can think about that in a modern way unless we've stashed it away and put it in a little cubby hole. It's when you hear a human voice give voice to it, it's very compelling in the moment. So, and your performance of Zeshina at the beginning of your concert was beautiful and very compelling. And the ring dance was very interesting. Is a ring dance typically done with Zeshina?
Yes, yes. Not with the first one version, because it's more lyrical. It's like talking with the sun, and it's more meditation. But in this ritual, several other versions of Zeshina had round dances. And exactly this version was mixed with city songs harmonies. A little bit new one as the first one.
Very interesting. Very interesting. And Georgians do ring dances to a lot of different kinds of songs, don't they?
Sorry, again, please.
So there are ring dances to a lot of different kinds of songs.
Yeah.
What other kinds of songs do Georgians do ring dances for?
It's very oftenly it's with healing songs, Patonevi songs. It's in Raja, in Svaneti, in high mountain, west part, high mountain regions. We have a lot, 2 choir songs, which has round dances. It's sometimes like a hunter's song, just jokey songs. In Raja we have a lot like these songs, yeah, about women, for example. We have several songs which played with the boys, for example, and kind of humor, yeah. In Kaheti also we have like a ritual songs as glory songs, for example. It's woman repertoire. And in west part, in Samegrelo, for example, in Imereti and Guria, maybe we have some of them, not it's not so spread, because yeah, it's connected mostly with rituals, because this circle was connected with religious of sun and moon, which is after changed with Saint George and Jesus. It was pre-Christian views and mythology, and it saved this symbol of circle, which was also connected with meditation and go out the world, because it was mostly like a praying. So, for example, healing songs, it was real pray about ill people. Yeah. Anna, maybe you remember something else as I. Yeah, hunting songs. Yeah. Yeah.
So we've kind of moved into talking about the video a little bit, and so I wonder if you could tell us sort of generally what the idea behind your concert video was, because it was so well thought out and presented. So what was the general concept behind that video?
Yeah, it's so nice question, and I think yeah, it comes from our deep views and attitudes to traditions, rituals, and whole our life. And the first case of this idea to make our concert to birth, from birth to death, it was born so-called in 2014, because our very close friend died before our concert, 1 month before. Maybe you know about Gigi Garakanidze. He was very young, very nice ethnomusicologist. Also, his father, Ebisher Garakanidze, was founder of very famous Ensemble Ialoni. And yeah, it was historical family, and immediately it happens this tragedy, and we decide to not decide. We feel something absolutely different as before, because our young friend disappeared, and anyway, we plan to make a concert to have also jokey songs and dancing songs, and yeah, you know, life is going. And in this way, we decide to dedicate this concert to our friend's life, and also it was very pain for us that several days before also died John Graham's baby, and also it was very big tragedy for us, and we saw clearly that yeah, we need to think about different idea as just perform a song. And maybe we catch exactly this moment that Ialoni, it's like a sun rising in etymology, the word, but our sunrise, it's also so close, who knows. And also my idea was to make concept like a theater without clapping, without have conversations, because when I was in public, I always go out from this songs and rituals, as it catch us several minutes. And we also recorded a CD like this, and I wanted, and with girls we have a conversation, and they all was full with this idea that we have a small time, half hour, but we wanted to show just a glimpse from our traditional songs, rituals on this way, from the beginning to the end. And yeah, I think it's nice sometimes to think about like a philosophical thing, that you are now alive and performing and communicated everything, but something wrongs after, and we need to fill this space. Nobody knows who is it, what is it, but something eternal. And
yeah, it was a beautiful presentation and really brought us sort of through the life cycle in that way. So we thank you for thinking so much about the video before you recorded it. It was not just a concert, but it had ritual and other things in developed within the sort of narrative that it told. So it was wonderful to see.
Thank you that you feel this. And
You're very welcome. One of the things that we noticed was that there were three musical instruments that were played, one of them by Anna, the chonguri. And we wonder if you could tell us a little bit about the instruments that you used in your concert.
Anna, maybe you.
Oh, I play on chonguri. Chonguri is developed in Sakartvelo region and also in Korea, and we sing Mongolian songs by chonguri. Yeah, um, and Korean songs we sing also with chonguri. Yeah.
Can you describe it for anybody who might be watching this and wondering what it is?
What?
Can you describe the instrument?
Instrument.
Yeah, it's a string. It has strings. Yeah, and it has different skills. Yeah, it has 4 skills. I can show if you want.
It's made by Mongolian famous instrumentalist. It's Temuri. We all ask to him to do for us, and it need a special time of year to cut the wood from forest, and it's also a special kind of wood. I don't know what exactly, but he chose it, and also it's needed time for we dry this wood, and after this ritual, it's possible to.
Yeah. It's one skill. So it has 4 strings, and this is zili. It's called zili. Yeah.
Short one.
Yeah, this is short string.
How she changed, yeah, from this side she changed the string positions.
It looks like this. Yeah.
Thank you.
And about other instruments, maybe you're interested in also. Yeah, it's used in mostly in Swanian songs and also in Raja. This chuniri, I can show you. I
Chuniri and Chianuri is developed in Raja region, but we place on Chuniri.
It has three strings. It's not in good condition now, and also it has a string like a violin. And also very nice instrument, changi. I have it now here, but it's also from Swaneti, and it's so interesting that they had save real old Georgian mode. It's not in temperature, for example, da, 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 da. It's different.
Yeah. The Georgian scale or the Georgian fifth is divided evenly, and instead of the way in the West it's divided in half and whole steps. So in Georgia, your third is neither major nor minor, for instance, for people who care about that, know that kind of thing. Also, I noticed in the morning scene that you did, you had a beautiful harp, that looked like one of the supporting arms of it was carved in the shape of a medieval tower from Svaneti.
Yes, yes. It's Georgian name of this harp is Changi. Changi, and it has several strings, and yeah, it's close with the harp and the lira, and also it's used just in Svaneti. And yeah, this tower, it was idea of our Swanian member, who was the performer in the who plays on the Junidi instrument, Vika, and she ordered to make this tower on her harp.
Well, it's a beautiful touch, showing the connection between the place and the music. That scene in particular was, I found, well, the whole video was beautiful, but that the morning scene I found so compelling. It really just brought me to tears. I think it was moving for so many people. And there's so much of it that I want to ask you about. In the symbolism you put into it, the pomegranate, the symbol of life, you had a bridge there, I believe. Was there and you had laid out a costume on the floor that was, of course, not on a human being, that looked like it represented this woman who had drowned herself. Is that something that would be traditionally done, or was that done for the video as a symbol of what happened in the song?
Yeah, thank you for this question. It was really so hard and emotional to record this song. We couldn't perform it again. It was so full with emotions, really. All of us had the tears inside. And yeah, it's about a ritual. We have a collaboration with a painter, very nice painter from Achara, and some of symbols was put it just in from our initiative, but for example, dress, it's part of ritual to put a dress of die person. It's spread in Samegrelo, also in Guria, in Svaneti. This bridge we ordered especially for this picture for to show this content of the song, because in this song in Swanian language it tells about a girl who fell down from the not from bridge but to river, and this white material was kind of river, for example, like this pomegranate, like a symbol of love, and yeah, to put also instrument and something what was used from type, it was also spread. And I don't know in other worlds how it is other countries, but it's so spread here to put with a die person in the ground things what was used from this person. It was dresses, instruments, or maybe yeah, it was also spread in Egypt and different countries, rings and earrings and yeah, other things. And yeah, we try to have a performance to mixed with old and with new things, to be clear.
It's especially, I also found it very compelling just because, as you were saying, so often male ensembles tour, and so you don't necessarily hear songs like that or rituals that women would participate in or tell stories of women's lives. And I'm sure that it was not an uncommon thing to be in an unhappy marriage or a difficult marriage. I'm sure life in any village is going to be difficult, but it was, you all did such a beautiful job of showing us repertoire that is not usually heard, and that scene was particularly moving. I mean, going back to the beginning of the video, I mean, both of us had some questions. The lullaby, we noticed that you used red material. You had draped a tree, I think, in red material. And I think, is there an association with that color or that ritual and the healing song?
Yeah, Anna, maybe you want to tell about this? Okay. Yeah, in healing songs, exactly in Batonebi songs, it was so spread to use red material. It was like a rule. If somebody in the family, mostly the children, has this healing, all of family members must wear the red dress, because it was like a belief that this soul of Batonebi, so-called Batonebi, it's like a lords, like angels. It was it's unclear nowadays also what it was and what it is, but it's like a belief that they really can kill ill person, and they loved so much singing and smell of the flowers and red color, and to have a circle around the bed of the ill person, and have a dances also, and really people afraid so much this illness, and because of this we have maybe 100 and more versions of healing songs, which is so close to lullaby in a harmonical way, in mood of performing. It's like a calming, and so mostly it's so nice melodies and so quiet. And yes, this red, to make tree in red, it was also a decision of our painter. He advise us, maybe you want to have something new, not just ritual as you know in the sources. I was a little bit afraid and have a conversation with the girls that maybe it's a good idea to change something in the tradition, but also we have a wish tree. I think it's spread in many countries, and this wish tree also has the materials on it and have wishes, and we decided to connect also like a in the space. It was like a fire, and like a make a live and against dying and illness. It was like a yeah action of it.
It's a really interesting tradition because, of course, you know, you're singing these songs that have a kind of calming feeling, and the idea is that you're calming the spirit that might harm the person, and that's part of the reason to do it. But even if you don't, even if the spirit's not there, the calming song would be good for the person who's sick as well. So it's an interesting tradition that it covers the bases in those two ways, in terms of you know, presenting a song that will be conducive to healing for the person, regardless of the context. So it was a beautiful video as well, just a beautiful version of that. So thank you for that song. I think the other thing that might stand out to our viewers, all of the women in Ialoni are such beautiful singers and so beautiful, but the person that people might fall in love with watching this video was your 90-year-old guest singer, who was an extraordinary spirit. So who is she, and how did you come to know her?
Sorry, you mean which one you mean? You mean members?
The older woman who sang the lullabies with you.
Yeah, grandma, our party grandma. Yeah, and what in the Shempets with her?
Yeah, grandmother. Yeah, they are very special grandmother in Gavazi, in Kakheti region.
In Ajara, yeah, in Ajara, West part.
Yeah, and another grandmother is Ajara in west part of Georgian, Georgia. Yeah, and her name is Patu. uh, yeah, and it was very emotion. We met her. Yeah. It was 19 year 90 years old. Yeah, yeah. But she has very energy. Uh, yeah, it was very surprise. We will surprised because um, she feels uh, very good. And
Did you meet her when you went to um, the village to do your research? I know that you do a lot of research in villages and collecting. Is that, or how did you meet her?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it was part of my dream to meet Patu grandma because she's so old, and we was afraid maybe we can't hurry up, and our meeting maybe wouldn't be so nice for her. And she had a very nice family. His three. Girl and two boys. It's so nice musicians and dancers. And this girl helped me so much, this woman, to make a picture and plan how we can organize to meet with her, because this village was so top in the mountain. It was so hard to get there, the snow also. And she told me she's sometimes she is so open and in a very nice mood, and so remember songs and everything, but sometimes she closed, and we can't understood where is she. And I can't promise you that yes, you are welcome 2-3 days and she will be communicate. And we were so afraid, but to plan risky plan, but it was big happiness to meet with her, because except songs, she told us a lot interesting and so clever things. She was also so strong person. She told us that she can fight with wolves when it comes against the cows. She had a 9 cow, but also she asked us to go in the balcony with her and tell us, look, I can hear what these birds talk about. And we were so surprised. And also she asked, after this meeting, she asked to her daughter, please call these girls and tell them that I dreamed about them whole life, because I was so comfortable and happy to sing with them. And please come again, because it was in March, in 8 March, it was like a Women's Day. And today the first flowers came from the ground, and please come and look. We couldn't go, unfortunately, but yeah, it was like a celebration to meet and to start singing. It was I first time I heard about this woman in the TV program. It's Ethnopori program, and she just remind this phrase, musical phrase. It was so famous song, but different version, and it was so big impulse for me that I discovered this new energy, new style of this song, and asked after several peoples in this village, and they show us different versions of this song, and then we decide to mix this. It's a very rich, rich region of this attire, and each village has different versions of exactly this song because it's so popular. And we thought that it would be nice to make something original, not exactly one version. But this Patu Grandma was our stimul and influence.
And it's funny that, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Patu Grandma has very rich base of Georgian folk songs, and we record a lot of folk songs, and then we learn music from her. And, yeah. So,
No, I was going to say that it's funny that she said she dreamed of you, because of course she's the dream come true for ethnographers or singers who want to meet someone like that. Your whole life you're hoping that you'll meet someone like that when you're trying to learn these songs or learn about the traditions. And so and people who are older and part of the tradition often wish for someone younger to pass it on to. So you had that going both ways, those that you were each the dream come true for the other, and that's a beautiful thing to see in the video.
It was the biggest gift for us to hear this.
Well, you filmed on location in several different villages, isn't that right? I mean, you go to a lot of villages to do your work, and you had some lovely locations, like the location where you did the wedding rituals. That was a different place, wasn't it? From
Wedding ritual was in the same region, neighborhood of this village as Patabebo, but we decided to make it in open air because it was nice nature.
And those are both those are in Western Georgia.
It's Achara region.
The Achara region. Those are that it was a beautiful setting for those wedding songs. They're very interesting. I know that you said that typically the makruli would be sung by the best man of the groom, but now women also sing it. Can you talk about that at all? Is that a modern thing, or is it just that women have decided that this is a great song and they want to sing it too? Or how has that changed?
Sometimes we change traditions, but the first song, which was just in one voice, it's from Tusheti, and it's exactly a song of bride. And she said that she called the groom, and it's a east part of Georgia, Tusheti Mountains. It's a beautiful place, and it's different character. Persons live there, more strict and a little bit closed, and they have a lot so-called angry songs about love, because when they lost lover, the woman is so strong persons that they can say such words and verses as not in other regions. Maybe in other regions feel so this pain and maybe aggressive and everything. It's same for everybody, but they shy to express or can't do it. And in Tusheti, it's so interesting to hear the words. And it's interesting that the polyphonic way, it's not so spread as in West part, because for them it's so important content of verses, and they express very deep feelings in the words, and with just one voice melody. And this is a sample of it, and it tells that, hey, groom come if you are coming, but if you didn't come, I wish for you very very bad thing that ground open its mouth and you disappeared on it like this, and yeah, it wish them, and it's very exactly, it's words by words, it's your bed will the ground, it's word, and yeah, and it was the song of bride before the wedding. And another song in Popoli, it I never hear in archive recordings with women voices. It's from Abkhazia, our lost territory. You know, our 20% is occupied by Russia, and it was our part. And this different language. It's not. It's like a dialect, not Georgian, and it's mostly in the glossolalis without meanings. It's this a song, but it's a calling of two persons to each other, and exactly best man's song. And the third one, it's exactly from Ajara, where we were this time. And in the words, it seems that the bride sing about their mother-in-law. Yeah, it's a free voice.
So I know you had mentioned before that in men's ensembles, there's typically clothes that they wear that are significant. And I wonder if the clothing of Ialoni has any significance, or if it's just beautiful dresses that you're wearing.
You mean about traditional dresses?
Yeah.
Anna, maybe you want to tell about it? About our dresses, what is mixed in on it, or what is traditional?
Yeah, our traditional look is from another from different Georgian part of Georgian. Yeah, so we take look from Raja, from Kakheti, from another different region, and it is traditional, of course, yeah, of traditional dress, and it has the Georgian elements, yeah.
So you put it together.
Oh, Georgian ornament elements, yeah.
Also for us, it's so important to choose the colors because I think that colors express our timbres of singing, and it's individual, and also it's friendly, but yeah, each of girls has their own color, what they love mostly, and yeah, we try to choose this colorful thing.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. So I think we're coming to the end of our time for the interview. So I wanted to give you, both Anna and Nino, the opportunity to say anything you want to say to an American audience about Georgian traditional music, or about the whole culture that you're part of.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity to open for us this space on this strange and difficult time to communicate with people who interested in about Georgian music, and maybe who didn't know about it before. And I think Georgian music, it's like part of world music, and I wish and I hope that it will be more and more interesting for many people. In first case, for Georgians, I dream about it, and I hope every person can find on it very useful roots of humanity, and to find their own quietness and aesthetic and genre. And yeah, I wish to feel the sound in whole, with 3 or 4 voice in whole. It's so big gift from the other world, I think, and I think we need to save and try to hear it more and more. And for example, in rehearsals, when we try to sing together, for us it's the main thing to feel each other and find out each other's thinking, emotion, and timbre, and in one whole with everything. And I think it's a very important thing. Thank you. And patience.
Well, thank you so much. We want to once again say that this is part of the Homegrown at Home 2021 concert series, and we have been talking with Nino Naneishvili and Anna Lolashvili of the group Ialoni, and I'm Stephen Winnick. My colleague here is Theodosia Austin from the American Folklife Center at the Library of Congress. So thank you both for being such wonderful interview guests, and of course for the wonderful concert video that you sent to us. We have watched it many times, and it's a beautiful part of our series. So thank you again so much.
Thank you so much.